What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to be doing full reviews on two very particular Creed fragrances that I have been wanting to get for a long time. One I've had a decant of for quite a while. The other I had a carded sample of years ago and have been meaning to get. Of course, we are talking about Creed's original Santal and Creed's Aventus Cologne. So we're going to discuss. Stay tuned. So before we dive into the review, these were sent out to me by the good folks at FragranceNet. There's links below if you want to check them out. I've been shopping with FragranceNet for many years now, as I know a lot of you watching this have been as well. They're pretty much world-renowned for their prices and pretty consistent inventory, and that includes fragrances like these Creeds. There's a discount code down below so you can save some money off the pricing. Obviously, them sending these to me has no bearings on what I think about the fragrances. Like I said, I've experienced them in the past and I've been wanting to get bottles. Thankful to have them. But let's get into these reviews. So it's only right that we take a quick look at the boxes. So this is the box for original Santal. These are both 50 ml bottles. So this is one of the newer batches. I know people are going to ask about batch codes. I will show them here in just a moment. So speaking of, here's your lot number. So this is one of the newer style that has the metal cap. So F000307 is your lot number, is your batch code. Comes with a little card, all that good stuff. It's just a box. Now with Aventus Cologne, there's a little bit of a difference here. As you can see, this is known as the little brother, I guess, to Creed Aventus, but we'll discuss that more in just a little bit. But what's interesting about this one is this is not a metal cap version. You see that lot number, CM9720D01. This is a 2020 bottle, so this bottle is about 3 years old roughly. And as you guys know, there's a batch code variation thing that's very real when it comes to Creed, so we'll discuss that in just a minute. But let's take a quick look at the bottle. So I've always loved the gradients of the original Santal bottle, that red to like a yellowish tint. It basically goes like a fiery hot to sandalwood. The color representation is basically the scent profile, and then you have some batch code information printed on the bottom. Obviously cap holds very well into place, but this is the newer, very hefty, very thick metal caps from Creed. They have a phenomenal atomizer. Always have, and then now you get the satisfying metal cap click because they use metal caps. In regards to Aventus Cologne, just basically a gray wrap and gray cap version, because the original is black, which this is a flanker to Aventus. Here you go, batch code information. And get it to focus, is printed over, there we go, get it to focus right there. And then this is the older style, back when they were still plastic caps. If I get it to focus, there we go. So love that matte gray finish. Still a quality cap for being plastic with the same atomizer. But most importantly, let's discuss these scents. So I feel like we need to start with what I believe is one of the best from the house. That being Aventus Cologne. So why do I say that? So Creed Aventus is one of the most copied and cloned fragrances out there. There's a ton of ways to smell like it, though the real magic is always in the original. A lot of you have heard me say that so many times. I think this is better than Aventus. So you will smell Aventus when you get this. It does have a similar citrus fruity tone at the top, a little bit more orange here. You do get the birch, you get a little bit of that smokiness. It's still musky, though the musk is enhanced here. It is a fresher take on Aventus. That's why they named it Aventus Cologne. I'll have had the notes on the screen by now, but the biggest takeaway for me from this is it's citric at the top, and it's underappreciated for just how ginger heavy, fresh spicy, vetiver dominant, and musk dominant this fragrance is. I think that's the real stars of the show, is the ginger, the vetiver, and the musk. That's the main things you're going to get here. Sure, you're going to get citrus. It's not quite fruity because it's not full of pineapple like Aventus is, and it's not quite as smoky. There's a little bit of birch here, like I said, but it's more about this relatively fresh and dense woody vetiver, a super musky, slightly creamy musky tone to it, and like I said, the ginger here provides a nice, somewhat crisp, but more spicy, slightly warm and spicy tone to this fragrance. This smells incredible. Again, smells like Aventus, but obviously a tweaked and twisted version of Aventus. The quality is top tier, as you would come to expect with all of Creed's fragrances. Both of these, there's no question about the quality. They smell of the highest quality. Worth the money, that's for you to decide, but I would encourage you to sample them, especially if you've never experienced Creed Aventus Cologne. One of the best from the house that doesn't get talked about enough, because Aventus gets all the love, obviously, and look, deservedly so. It's a phenomenon in itself since it came out in 2010. But this is better in my opinion. Obviously, that's an objective, opinionated taste thing. But look, I love Creed Aventus. I got Creed Aventus and a ton of different ways on top of having Creed Aventus to smell like that DNA. But I would take this every time over. It just suits my taste a bit more. It's a bit more warm weather oriented, and it doesn't sacrifice any performance, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But let's talk about the scent on Original Santal. So with this one, the first thing everybody thinks is, okay, this came out after Mont Blanc Individuel. Just get Individuel, it's cheaper. I get that. I've been through a bottle of Individuel. I have another bottle of Individuel. And yes, there is inherent similarities. Very fruity. This is warm spice. This is creamy sandalwood. But the difference maker here is this is more of a sandalwood fragrance. Doesn't have that drier sheet fabric softener smell of Mont Blanc. The quality is much, much, much greater with Original Santal. I think this is a superior fragrance in every way. Could you get away with rocking Mont Blanc Individuel? Sure, of course you can. Like I said, I'm a fan. But this is superior. I'm so glad to finally have this. I actually wanted to grab this to show you guys. This is my lipstick atomizer that is an 8 milliliter decant of Original Santal that I've kind of been hoarding. If I get it to focus, that would just be peachy. There we go. So I've been kind of saving the sprays. I've used a few ml out of it, but I've been saving it, waiting to get a bottle. It's been on the bucket list for a while. I used to have a smaller 2 ml sample years ago also. So I've been wanting to get this fragrance for a long time. I'm super happy I wore it a couple of days ago. This is just kind of a, when it comes to versatility while providing something that's somewhat unique among just being in the crowd, I think Original Santal supplies that. That's why I think this is such an underrated fragrance from the house, because it's got Creed's quality and blend work. Obviously the perfumery is done very well here, the artistry and everything, but this particular blend, like I said, you don't get too many fruity, warm and spicy, woody fragrances out there that kind of can evoke the feeling of this one. It's super versatile. You can get away with wearing this one in the heat. It's not too much for the heat. Just kind of be easy on the sprays, and then it works well the rest of the year. This one dresses up, this one dresses down. This is truly a somewhat slightly unique, signature scent-worthy type of scent profile, and I think it's underappreciated for having those capabilities, because this is such a great smelling fragrance. Obviously, if I had to pick more ideal settings, I would say semi-casual, semi-formal, spring and fall, day and night would be the ideal situations and attires for this. Whereas with Aventus Cologne, I would think year-round, slightly more casual to semi-formal, semi-casual, kind of same thing, but this one works a little bit better in spring, summer, fall. But overall, they smell phenomenal, and I encourage you to sample both. Now, in regards to performance on Aventus Cologne, I said we'd touch on this in a little bit. So I get similar performance out of this 2020 50 ml bottle as I do from my 19 S11 100 ml bottle of Creed Aventus, which is in the 6 to 8 hour range in longevity. Kind of average projection, nothing crazy strong, maybe a little bit better than arm's reach, a little bit better than moderate to average for a solid 2 hours. It's very, very noticeable. There's no mistaking, this scent coming off of your skin, at least on my skin, for 2 solid hours. This stuff pumps pretty well. Now, the sillage I would consider more on the moderate side, because through my wearing experiences with this particular bottle so far, it's constantly reminding me it's there throughout the wearing of the life. It is not that weak of a fragrance, but it's also not a beast either. I would say across the board, this is a slightly above average performer. Now, in regards to Original Santal, this one, while not quite as strong as whatever the batch is that's in my decant that I showed you guys a minute ago, it's not quite as strong, but it still manages to give me 6 to 8 hours of longevity, so they fall into the same with longevity, which That's the sweet spot for me. If I can get anywhere from 6 to 8 hours from a fragrance, I am a happy camper. I don't need more. Projection, I would say, settles down after about an hour and a half. It doesn't project as heavy for as long as the Aventus Cologne, but in the hour to hour and a half of its strongest point, I would say it's every bit of arm's reach. Very noticeable, easy to detect. Like I said, average type of projection, and then settles into a slightly better than moderate to mild sillage. I do get decent strength whiffs throughout my wearing to remind me it's there. Not quite as dense as this. Once again, this does perform a little bit better, but not much better. This is still pretty easy to smell throughout my wearing experience without me having to go looking for it. It's not something that I just completely forget that I'm wearing after time passes. It will remind me through certain ways I move, turning, moving back, and circulation in the room and such. So I would say average, slightly better across the board in performance for Original Santal. Overall ratings for these two, I'm a fan of both. Obviously, like I said, they were bucket list fragrances. I was able to pick these out for this collaboration. That's why I'm reviewing these. I wanted these. I wanted to review these because I've been wanting them, and I have experience with them prior to this review and getting these bottles. So with Aventus Cologne, I'm a huge fan. Like I said, I like this one more than Aventus. This is an outstanding fragrance that deserves more attention. It's a 9 out of 10 fragrance. This is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of this. Obviously, 50 ml is going to last me a very long time with the amount of fragrances I have, but I am super happy to have the amount of sprays that I do have with this one. It's a 9 out of 10. Easily. Whereas with this one, I think it's great at an 8 out of 10. The versatility's there with a slight unique take, I would say, for something that I would consider signature scent worthy because of the combination of raspberry, spices, and woods. There's other things going on here with florals and such, but that's the main takeaways that I get from this scent profile that I enjoy so much about it, and I think it's a great fragrance. I don't think it's one of Creed's top 5 fragrances from the house like I do with this, but I would definitely put it up there in the upper echelon of the 10 best from the house, and I think this one's quite underappreciated, but it's definitely, to me, an 8 out of 10. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on two what I believe to be underappreciated fragrances from the House of Creed and Aventus Cologne and Original Santal especially. Thank you again, FragranceNet, for allowing me the opportunity to get my hands on these and review these on my channel. They will continue to get wear, trust me. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What do you think about either one of these? Similar take to me? Differing take, like them more, like them less? Love to see what you guys think down below in the comments. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on either one of these from Creed, you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.